Hey Sagittarius, it's Romy here. Thanks so much for tuning into the channel. This is your November monthly intuitive reading. So if you're a Sagittarius sun, rising or moon, it may resonate for you. If it does, please drop me a like and a comment. Make sure you've subscribed to the channel. You can also join me for the extended reading. We're going to go into a little bit more detail there. And you can find that by clicking on the downward arrow next to the video description. So let's see what's coming out in November for you. So we're in Scorpio season. This is 12th house activity for you. We also have Mercury retrograde from the 31st of October right through to the 18th of December. So the first thing that comes through is I feel like the first part of November is going to feel a little trippy for you, okay? You're going to be dealing with an awful lot of subconscious, deep, quite mysterious energies that are forcing you to let go, to release. A lot of healing energies coming up around you. And it's interesting because having Scorpio in the 12th house, Sagittarius, you know, there's a tendency to really get quite insular and quite secretive about what you're dealing with and what you're going through. And I want to say that maybe there's even this sense of you just feeling quite misunderstood is what I want to say. But that's okay. That's okay is the message that I want to start this reading with. You don't need to receive any external validation right now for what's going on in your world and what you're choosing to surround yourself with, what the choices and the actions that you're taking. This is all about you right now and your soul path and your spiritual journey, and that final release and that culmination and that closure of a cycle as we prepare to move into your beautiful Sagittarius sun energy. Your solar returns on the 22nd of this month. So we begin your reading with the Chariot, cardinal energy coming in. This could be a Cancerian in your world, but I feel for me this is about your focus and dedication, forward movement through this period, which, you know, isn't necessarily like the easiest of transitions as we come into your sun sign energy. So as we move through Scorpio season, I just feel things are going to feel a little bit maybe even out of place, a bit surreal. And there are going to be times, I think, through this first part of the month when you are like really trying to hold on and not lose your balance, lose your alignment, lose your focus. But out of this, what I see is just a very directed and very progressive guidance from the universe in terms of where we're trying to get you to, okay? So we're approaching this full moon in November, which is coming in on the 12th of November in Taurus, which is 6th house activity for you, Sagittarius. So that's going to be hitting in all around that self-care. And I think that this is really important because what the universe is saying is while you're working through this deep 12th house activity and things feel a little bit otherworldly and the energies and the transitions that we're going through collectively are quite profound, if you don't get that base physical nurturing of self right, if you're not eating well, if you're not resting when you're supposed to, if you're not taking care of you, you're going to make this all harder on yourself, okay? So that full moon in Taurus is giving you a nice grounded energy with which to release some habits and some approaches and ways of doing things that are just not working for you anymore. And that's supportive with your 12th house, like wider energy that's happening in your world right now, okay? So we have Page of Cups energies coming through, and I feel like you are in a place of, remember with this retrograde season, there's that kind of quiet contemplation and sort of review of the past, and sometimes it's almost like there can be that air of slight melancholy as well that comes in, and I feel you're going to be moving through and oscillating in between all these like different frequencies and vibrations, and so you're probably going to find yourself quite dreamy at times, and in that and having that need actually to just create a space for yourself with which to do that, because I think your assessment of the past, your assessment of what it's taken to get to this point, and what it is that you are looking to let go of, and where you're trying to allow the transformation and the rebirth of that Scorpio season support you can't be done if you've got too much noise and interference and chaos from other people, okay? Now, if we are dealing with a Cancer, with that Chariot coming in and then the Page of Cups, which is a water sign, so it could be Scorpio or Pisces, but I do get a little bit drawn to somebody with very Cancerian qualities around you. If that is something that is resonating for some of you Sagittarius, I want to say that you need to remember that as we're in retrograde season, messages and expression can just get misconstrued. And I feel because you're in a place, like a highly sensitized place at the moment, I'm going to say that it just feels like you could take things the wrong way, or what you're saying might be taken the wrong way. So there's almost just like this little note of like trying not to pass judgment over anything until we come out of this transit, okay? Because I honestly feel like, see, if you try to explain yourself at the moment, or you try to articulate to other people like what's going on for you just now, it just feels it's not coming across in a way that people would really necessarily understand. And again, I just want to say, like, that's okay. You know, this is about your journey right now. There is a lot of messages and communication taking place. We might have an air sign coming in here as well, card of Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. But I also think that this is you, I want to say, perhaps just struggling to express or convey what it is that you need to. And so it's just really a note from the universe to say, while you're in this energy of Scorpio season, almost take a step back. Let that retrograde just give you this the kind of the time to pause and reassess, and get curious. There's a beautiful sense of curiosity that always comes through with that Page of Swords energy, to say, you know, what do I need to look at from a fresh perspective, or a different through a different set of eyes right now. And actually, like, that's where 12th house activity can be kind of helpful, because it almost liberates you. And, you know, let's face it, with Scorpio, there's no taboos with that sort of energy. So it liberates you, Sagittarius, to be able to go places and think things through in a way that you wouldn't perhaps otherwise be able to in different energy cycles or at different times of the year. So this is like a really important moment just before we burst through into your new, your new Sagittarius sun cycle, with which to kind of get deep under the kind of the surface of things and really try and understand them. I think there's going to be some beautiful breakthroughs that you're going to have in yourself through this season, which maybe people are just not going to really get or understand, and that's okay. We have Mars moving into Scorpio from the 19th of November, and honestly, it's like impossible to pull the wool over the eyes when Mars is in Scorpio. Like, you just pick up everything. You're going to see everything for what it is, and you're going to see right through things and right through people. And I think there's something important about that for you right now, Sagittarius. You just need to see the truth of things as you are assessing who to have in your life. You know, this is a card of friendship, of those close bonds that you have in and around you. Maybe making some decisions around who feels good in your energy right now, and why. I feel like you are looking to bring in a time of increased connection, but this is the pause before that's about to happen, okay? So we also have this sense of, you see, I get a beautiful celebration coming in with this card, but for me it's a celebration of yourself. It's a celebration of all that you've been through, and what it's taken to arrive at this point, okay? When we look at 12th house activity, it can help us to solve those mysteries, right? It's allowing us the wherewithal to navigate and travel and almost like take that magical carpet ride, so to speak, like through our subconscious, connecting very deeply and intuitively to our psychic ability, into our dream state, into that kind of lucid meditative quality, and really understand where the universe is taking us. And through that, there's this beautiful sense of celebration of self that comes through this. So it's quite a I'm going to say it feels like a selfish time, but I mean that in the best possible way, Sagittarius. This isn't about you having to kowtow or, concern yourself with, who you need to please or what you need to do to, to be able to make other people happy right now. This is about a deeper understanding and transformation that's taking place within you. November is that beautiful gateway into the new cycle for you. And I think that as we approach that 22nd, you're feeling increasingly powerful and increasingly at ease with who you are. So right at the center of your reading, we've got Three of Swords, but for me, this is because you've cut through everything. You've just got right into the heart of things. This is the clarity that's emerging. This is the deep understanding of yourself, and it's almost blowing your heart chakra wide open, Sagittarius. I love this. I think that this is actually going to be an incredibly liberating time as you release yourself. And remember, it's a beautiful healing energy that comes in with 12th house activity to allow us to move forward and let go. And so for me, that Three of Swords energy coming through is just saying I'm lasering right in, I'm getting to the heart of the matter, and I'm going to release and allow that deep healing to wash over me. Sometimes we need those storms, we need that energy to get really kind of churned up to create profound change in our lives. Sometimes when for you, Sagittarius, with Scorpio in your 12th house, there can be that tendency to kind of push things under the carpet, to kind of bury our feelings like really, really deep. But for me, the universe isn't allowing that to happen in this season for you. It wants everything aired. It wants everything up into the light because there's such a profound shift happening in your world. So November for me is the gateway that's happening with that. Is there some upset going on in your world right now? Perhaps there's some messages, through this retrograde season. This is why I'm just putting like a cautionary note to, to what's going on in your personal relationships, because I feel you're going through quite a profound change, and I think people are not really understanding where you're coming from right now, because you're in the process of figuring that out for yourself. So, if you find that you are rocking the boat for other people, or perhaps you are receiving information that's causing some kind of upset for you, there's something in that. I want to remind you again about this getting curious energy that the Page of Swords is bringing in. Get curious about why that's triggering you and allow the release, because I feel like, even if there is some tears that are needed, they're wholly unnecessary, and they're actually going to help to transcend you to the next level, vibrationally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Something really important about that. All these threes coming into your reading as well are also denoting this being a time of creation, of rebirth, of giving birth to something new within your world. Okay, Nine of Swords energy. So feel like, we're still... This came through in your last month's reading, Sagittarius, and I feel like, we're still holding an awful lot of energy in that crown chakra, okay? So, and even under this, or really as we have this air energy between the Page of Swords and the Three of Swords surrounding this card, all of this intellect, all of this mental activity, it's almost like you are thinking and overthinking and going through the permutations, and it's probably because you're just being taken through different scenarios and you're trying to figure out the way through. It's like this huge maze, and you keep it's like you're trying to find your way to the other side, and you keep coming up against like a wall, but it isn't like a dead end, it is a maze and there is a way through. And I feel like the guides are saying, if you could just relax, if you could allow your body to just surrender into this process, what would happen is we would lift you up, and through that we would be able to show you exactly the path to navigate to get through to the other side. So this maze has purpose, but actually even in the journey of trying to figure the way through, you are coming to really important understandings and awareness and acknowledgement within yourself. So I feel like almost, you know, even though this is a challenging card at times, I feel every sword represents something that you're coming up against, you're facing it, you're dealing with it, and you're moving beyond it. If this is a fear, if this is a limitation, if this is an old wound, it's like boom, right in front of you. You can't ignore it. We're going to deal with it. That Three of Swords energy is there. Now we're clearing it out. So it's a really positive movement forward, and actually it takes an enormous amount of bravery, fortitude and courage to say, do you know what, I'm actually going to put myself through this journey because I understand at a soul level this is absolutely necessary for me to be able to move into something completely different and something that I'm ready for, because I do feel you're so ready. And the Chariot at the start of this reading, you remember, hold this as the tone of what November is bringing for you, because it is about progression, and no matter what, there's an inevitable movement forward through all of this energy. But you've been brave enough to say, yeah, I'm prepared to go through this, and I need to go through this because I have to release some of this stuff. It's just not serving me any further, and I need to bring in that understanding. And this is where, for me, the celebration of self is going to come through, because you're actually going to move beyond some of these fears. What I just talk about, the sense of courage, the sense of fortitude, and the sense of just determination to see something through. And actually, I think you're going to surprise a lot of people through this month of November, Sagittarius, with your absolute kind of gritty, focused vision of what you're laying out. And, remember, it's not about having to have it all kind of tied up nicely right now. When we are setting ourselves a new goal or intention, or we're trying to achieve something, part of that beauty is in the times when we fall over and we fail, because that's when we learn. That's when we're gaining so much depth and wisdom about who we are and what it takes to forge that sense of resiliency. Try not to move into an energy of getting too defensive through this month, Sagittarius. I think that there's a fine line between needing that real empowered, slightly kind of detached energy just to help you navigate through all of this. But because you're gonna, I feel, have certain individuals who are not understanding what you're going through or how you're choosing to deal with it, I think that there's that energy of you feeling like you need to justify. And I'm telling you right now, there's nothing that you need to justify. Not a single thing. You really don't. This is your personal journey. This is the way with which your guides are helping to illuminate the path forward. And everything that you're going through is necessary. And it's really nobody else's business how you're choosing to travel this road right now. So no justification is required right now. Five of Swords energy, again, for me, I think this is a lot of what we're leaving behind. And you have to remember, in 12th house, all this stuff is getting kind of thrown up in order to sort of pause and remember retrograde season, a lot of stuff coming back from the past as well to deal with in a new way, and to see how far you've come. You are releasing disappointments, but I think that there's a really important note about when we are driving forward, okay, and when we are looking to make profound change in our world. If you are trying to take the relationship to the next level, or to bring in a new connection, if you are looking at what you are trying to achieve for yourself in terms of new levels of stability and security and abundance, if this is about what home and family represents and means to you, or what you're trying to achieve in your own work or purpose, what this reading for me is saying is that the way with which you are going to now choose to deal with expectations versus disappointments and being able to get back up and keep going is so important. Like, the wisdom that you're learning through this month of November is setting you up for success into 2020. That's what I'm going to say. So don't be hard on yourself when you find your energy possibly moving back into an old energy pattern or an emotional state that feels all too familiar, because retrograde likes to do that to us. But remember, this isn't to punish you. This is to show you, oh, here's where I do that thing. Okay, I don't have to do that thing again this time, do I? Because I've already learnt this every which way. Okay, now I'm ready to release it. We're in 12th house and I get to say, yeah, no more to this. This is one of these 9 swords I'm going to let go of. So this for me is actually a really powerful month for you. And as you come into that 22nd, as we move into Sagittarius, and particularly around that new moon, this is the reinvention. You know, this is you stepping up and saying, okay, none of these things hold me back anymore. None of these people, none of these connections or relationships define me. None of the failures or the disappointments that I've experienced this year define me. In fact, everything that was meant for me is still here, and I get to transform it, and everything that wasn't has moved on, and I'm wholly accepting of that. There's deep acceptance that I feel coming out from this reading for you as well. So on the 27th of November, we have Neptune moving direct again. It's been retrograde since June 21st in Pisces, and in your 4th house, okay? So that has brought about some raw truths in terms of your roots, your home life, family life, like, you know, who feels like family, what is family, what does that mean to me? So it's like all of a sudden that idealistic kind of dreamy idea of the vision went through like a really tough kind of harsh reality check in retrograde. But now we move forward on the 27th direct, and it's giving you the chance to remind yourself with a more aligned, hopeful, and I want to say like a deeply kind of spiritually trusting vision of what these things mean to you. So you have a beautiful Ace of Cups energy coming in, and you know, this for me, you know, this is the theme here, the Chariot and the Ace of Cups, this beautiful forward motion into a new beginning that is bringing in a deeper sense of love and compassion and joy, an increase in terms of your emotional vibration. Your heart chakra has been blown wide open. What does that mean? It allows you to move into a receptive mode and a receptive energy to allow deeper love, deeper sense of abundance, deeper sense of joy, creativity, passion, purpose to enter into your life. But to get to that, remember, we're going through that maze. We have to come up against some of these obstacles and some of these resistant energies to say, okay, this isn't something that I need to take with me. I have to release these. Okay, I think for some of you, this retrograde season is bringing back past connections that you are ready to look at in a different way and clear out. Okay, for me, I've got a lot of new energies that are needing to step forward. Let's take a quick look at the oracle cards and see how this is reflecting what's showing up for you, Sagittarius. Okay, pleasure. Okay, so I guess we have that kind of axis of pleasure and pain, don't we? Sometimes, you know, we can't just stay in one emotional state. The contrast is wholly necessary so that we can enjoy and fully embody and move into an emotional place to receive it fully. So for me, you know, this is you bursting through Scorpio season and into Sagittarius season. You know, the light is emanating, the butterflies are significant of your rebirth and your transformation. The full moon is illuminating and bringing revelation and understanding that gives you a deep sense of satisfaction about who you are and where you currently stand in your life. Even if everything isn't fully aligned yet, you are wholly aware of the new beginning and the sense of renewal and flow and radiance that's coming through. Those lotus flowers pushing their way up from the, you know, the deep murky depths and all of that mud to still blossom. The beautiful dove bringing in that sense of inner peace for you. So this is symbolic for me of you allowing yourself, and I think it's a really important note to talk about, is actually you have to give yourself permission to move forward, Sagittarius. So that's probably a question you're going to be asking yourself as we enter into that month of November. I mean, we have this full moon, sorry, the new moon in Scorpio, 27th, 28th of October. And this has got this really interesting opposition to Uranus. So there's quite a sense of like shock value, of unexpected energy, of kind of, you know, like unearthing and that real kind of revelationary that's probably more akin to like a full moon reveal, but that's really happening in that Scorpio time. So for you, that's going to be quite a powerful transit of energy that you're working with. And it's giving you the opportunity to look at things completely differently. But remember, you have to give yourself permission to receive that pleasure and that happiness. So for those of you that are focused in and around love and relationships, it feels to me that it's allowing you a time to let go of the self-sabotaging or toxic energies that people have brought into your world, or that you have found yourself defaulting into, to bring in something far more healthier and progressive. I think that we are beautiful. Okay, so your second oracle card is talking about forgiveness. Again, with 12th house, as we have the closure, that's what I was going to say there, that as we're looking toward this cycle of closure for you, you know, you are being asked to, first and foremost, forgive yourself for anything that hasn't fully met with your expectations, because you're still in a period of transition and everything is like, I know it sounds like a funny phrase to say, but it's just like everything is still up for grabs. Like everything is still here. Like nothing has been removed or taken away from your life. You know, even if it's been taken away in terms of a specific person or a specific opportunity, it's going to be replaced with something brighter and more valid and more aligned. Okay, what you are reaching for is still on the horizon. That's just what I feel. It's just like this is like the rebirth and the second coming, you know, and you're about to understand why so much of what you've experienced through 2019 hadn't quite fallen into place in a way that you'd expected it to. And for those of you, you know, that have you know, found yourself in a place where actually things feel quite good and this feels a little bit out of kilter, what I want to say is that there are still adjustments and tweaks that I feel post this retrograde you're going to find yourself making, that's going to make things even better and even brighter, because I still feel like there's a period of adjustment that we're looking at that's going to be necessary. So I hope that's given you some clarity and insight for this month of November. I really look forward to focusing on your solar returns as we're into next month's reading. But if you'd like to join me for the extended, we're going to go into this in a bit more detail. So for the next 20 minutes or so, I'm going to unearth deeper messages around this reading. So let's go ahead and clarify the Chariot card, see what's coming out, Sagittarius. The Fool, beautiful. It is, it's this brand new beginning and this new adventure, and you know, you can feel the rise of energy coming up, or you will as you come out of Scorpio season into Sagittarius. You're going to feel this deep energy, Kundalini energy rising up within you. It's going to be beautiful. Okay, so Four of Pentacles energy. This is about, what do we need to let go of? Stop clinging so tightly to a specific outcome, a specific person. You don't need to. It's all flowing into you. Maybe someone's holding on too tightly to you. Page of Pentacles. Look at 3 pages right there. Interesting. Lots of messages and communication taking place, and some sort of offer or invitation. Interesting to see what comes up with that. Okay, so 7 of Pentacles is coming through with 3 of Cups, and the 9 of Cups wants to fall out with that as well. So We'll look into that in more detail to see what's showing. Okay, Three of Swords, King of Cups. Okay, are you dealing with a water sign energy here? Is there a Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces that is on your mind and that is relevant to this Three of Swords? If this is embodying you, this is this absolute sense of heart on the sleeve. Remember, heart chakra blown wide open. Queen of Swords, interesting. Could be an air sign coming into the mix here as well. We'll take a look at that in more detail. Right, let's clarify this Nine of Swords. Okay, Five of Swords energy coming in. So this is the second time we've got that. So maybe there's some expectation that hasn't been met. Sense of loss going on. But I still feel this is not always what it seems. That's what I want to say to you. Okay, Seven of Swords. You've got a lot of swords in your reading again, Sag. But again, I just feel like it's all this mental activity. We're releasing so much of like excess energy and unwanted thought forms. Seven of Wands is bringing in the Three of Swords again. Okay. So much uprooting and unearthing and clarifying happening. You're just going to feel, I honestly think, like you're just moving through so many different dimensions and energies in November. Temperance, okay. Lovely healing quality coming in as we move toward the end of the reading. Look at that, Temperance and Ace of Cups, beautiful. Could also be you, Sagittarius. Yeah. Six of Pentacles, beautiful. I want to pull a couple more for that actually. King of Swords, Magician, lovely. Okay, let's clarify your oracle card here. Four of Swords. Perfect card for 12th house activity, right? Just surrender, rest. You're really going to need to rest and allow your body to process and move through this transit. Justice with forgiveness. I love that. Okay, Sagittarius, if you'd like to join me for the extended, I'd love to see you there. You can just click on the downward arrow next to the video description. It will give you a link to the website, and we'll carry on this conversation and go into this in a little bit more detail. Otherwise, I wish you love and blessings for this month, and nothing but the best for this beautiful burst into your solar returns, and look forward to catching up with you in December. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and if you have enjoyed the reading, drop me a like or a comment. Thank you so much. Take care.